Every single day I wake up and I think I look sexy. Every single day I wake up and I think I look beautiful. I'm a very bodacious person, as some people would say. Right? It's not a gay thing. It's just a man thing. It's just a guy thing. You know, you wouldn't get it. All right, but there's a lot of people out there in the world who don't have self-confidence. They don't love themselves. And usually it's for good reason, you know? Because y'all motherfuckers got issues. Y'all motherfuckers got problems. And Saucy Menon is back here to talk about them today. If you couldn't guess, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm talking about beauty standards. Everyone's walking around looking so inflated, right? Not just, you know, fucking ego-wise, but also just lips, right? There's so much lip filler. There's so much man lip filler. There's so much BBL tech in this modern day world in 2025. I can't keep up, all right? If you know what I'm talking about, what I'm putting down, you're gonna pick up. It's just that simple. Throughout history, we as a human species have taught each other that certain things look good and then certain things look bad. All right, you want to avoid the bad and you want to embrace the good. That's what it's all about. You want to bring that shit together like it's just one and two, and then you create three. It's like, what do the anime nerds say? The fusion ha. It's like that. The fusion ha. Yes. Now it's time for a little Saucy Menon history lesson. All right, beauty standards have evolved long since the beginning of time. You know, back then, when there was no razors around, when Nivea as a company didn't exist, you know, it was just raw bush. That was it. It was like the Amazon jungle, you know, every time you saw another, you know, Homo sapien. It was hair, head to toe. Shotties were having beards back in 2000 BBCE. That's a new time I invented, before Christ. It was just, you know, near, you know, homunculus monkey level of just sort of thinking and operating. Listen, the kind of shit you saw back then would rival the great tortas of today. For women, it's been more about sort of, you know, highlighting femininity, obviously, because of, you know, those feminine hormones that come through. You know, you want to get in a nice, sexy dress, you know, you want to make sure the curvature is all correct, right? But for men, I mean, men don't really give a fuck. You gotta stay groomed. I'm not really groomed right now. You gotta stay, you know, nice and healthy. You can't be fat. All that fast food's really getting in my stomach. We can do whatever we want, to be honest with you, is what I'm saying. And then the male beauty standard is you gotta be strong, fit, muscular. They tell me I gotta groom and I gotta not eat Popeyes, but mainly what, you know, women want from men sometimes is they want the emotional side of things. Me, people have told me that I've failed in all subjects of these categories. I think that's very mean on their part. And they don't consider that, you know, maybe one day I have access to their vents, right? And I'm going to turn this into a Five Nights at Freddy's 3 minigame where you're running from me and I'm putting arsenic and rat poison in your vents. Men, they don't have to really care as much. I've seen some chopped ass dudes with just, you know, barely sufficient personalities with essentially supermodel women. All right, so let's go back in time and let's see, you know, how we got to that quintessential, you know, early millennial, late Gen Z couple that we see here today. You see, men's fashion wasn't always like this, right? I mean, in the Middle Ages, right, men's fashion was very flamboyant, right? You'd have people wearing fur pelts and, you know, royalty wearing, you know, big, massive coats and, you know, beautiful fabrics from India. Men wearing, like, tight tights, right? That's where the Amiri jeans came from. At this point, I'm on my King Henry VIII shit, you know? I'm ready to go butcher my third wife in a pair of Amiris. And then you'd have it whole fit all the way down to the goofy leather shoes that made everyone look like a jester, where they were gonna click their heels together or something like that. Pompous ass, like, you know, feather boa. Like nowadays, you know, you put that in front of someone, they're gonna call you a homosexual. It's just that simple. But back then, that was the standard. That was the beauty standard. So all the men dressed like that, and then women were taught to essentially be invisible in the background, right? They would all probably wear, you know, drab white dresses and you know, oh blood clot, my period is coming up, my cycle, so then you fucking bleed everywhere, and then, you know, it looks like an abstract painting, you know, all on the bottom half of your you know, what you're wearing. Like, come on, what are we doing here, right? Something had to change, all right? That beauty standard wasn't a beauty standard. It was just a special investigations unit crime. Then fast forward to the Victorian era and, men and women sort of swapped roles when it came to things, right? Men stopped wearing heels and opted for a very, elegant and chic, yet incredibly fucking boring suit and tie with like a bow tie and a top hat that makes you, look like the Monopoly man. And then women would wear the ornate dresses, and women would get to dress all fancy and that sort of thing. And if you did that as a man, you're just gay as hell. It's like, damn, I didn't know you sucked the dick like that. I didn't know you took that in your mouth. I didn't know you were such a, a sausage fondler. I probably could catch you in the Costco meat aisle, is all I'm saying. I wouldn't doubt it. And, people were dressing in such a way in this Victorian era that was very, contrarian to times previous, right? I don't know what that word means, but, if you look it up, it probably means something smart. But then again, you gotta remember that the women's fashion was still, pretty restrictive in terms of what you could wear. You couldn't go out there with a BBL. You bring a BBL back to 1870 in London, England, they're gonna crucify you. And I'm not exaggerating. Or maybe that's the Salem witch trials, all this history shit just blends together. It's for fucking nerds anyways, alright? I don't really care. And neither should you, because remember, history never repeats itself. In fact, I'm gonna make this a new temporary slogan of the channel. History never repeats itself. And don't look into any possible sarcasm in that comment any further. Why? Because you're gonna find nothing there. And then we got the three main groups of, beauty enhancement. I like to call them the three food groups just because I'm a dog like that. We got Botox, we got lip filler, and we got BBL implants. And they all come together and fuse to create a Mechazoid Power Ranger of pure, indescribable, beautiful destruction. And this indescribable yet beautiful destruction is all centered around Miami, Florida. Alright, you go down there, you're gonna see plenty of people, and I mean people, yes, men included too. Not even sexuality based, they just all got BBLs, right? They ass fat for no reason. Everyone goes to Miami for a BBL, and then Botox and lip filler, the other two main groups. Alright, it's getting out of control, and people need to do something about it. It's making everyone in the world very, very sad. Especially young women nowadays. I mean, just look at Korea, I got some dolsans there, and they're all like losing their mind, right? Ready to practically throw themselves off buildings, right? To escape all the, hidden surveillance cameras. You can't show any pores there in Korea. You gotta look like a white woman, you gotta bleach the skin. These women go in looking like what you'd expect a human woman to look like, and they come out looking like regenerators from Resident Evil. I don't know. What am I supposed to find beautiful? This is all so confusing, alright? And the media is saying a ton of different things, that it's never good enough, it's never perfect. That's what they want you to think, you'll never be good enough. But today, Saucy Menon's gonna tell you something different. Everyone is ugly. You got pimples. You got, ass warts. You got chlamydia. Everyone has a different issue. And we all just gotta face it one way or another. We have to just face the truth. Embrace your imperfections. And that's my message for you today. Okay, yeah, please actually leave and close the door on the way out. Alright, I'm sick of having to close the door. Everyone's always looking at me. I don't even wear any, bottoms for this video, right? The dick is just out and everyone sees it. And I'm just tired of them seeing it because it's just so many prying eyes. So please close that door. Anyways, sorry for that little tangent. I'm out of here for real now, alright? I'll see y'all.